right, we're going to be going over lesson 2, Religions of Ancient India. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly for you. So just listen along, check your work. If you need to pause this at any time, you can. The first one that we're going to talk about is Hinduism. In Hinduism, it grew from the faith of the Aryans. Remember, that was the second group that came into India after the Indus River Valley people had died out and the Aryans came into their land. Hindus believe in one great spirit of Brahman, and they believe that all living things, even gods, are part of the spirit of Brahman. Hindus believe that a person's soul will eventually join the spirit of Brahman, and that the soul must live many lives, even such as an animal. The idea of living many lives in different forms is the process called reincarnation, and they must also follow Dharma, which is their personal duty. If a person follows Dharma, then they will have good karma. And karma is the result of how a person lives. So if you live a good life and do your duty, you'll have good karma, and eventually you will reach Brahman. If you have bad karma, then you will be reborn into a lower Jetai. And remember, a Jetai is a group inside the caste system that you belong to. Or as an animal, and you will remain in that cycle of reincarnation. It says the belief in Dharma and karma mean that people have to obey the rules of their Jetai because that is where they have to stay until their next lifetime. If the idea of reincarnation gives them their only hope. That's what their hope is in, is reincarnation. So let's look at the fill in the blank here. Hindus believe that the soul goes through reincarnation. A person is born into a caste. They are born into the caste system, but they're born into a specific group called their Jetai. And they follow the Dharma of their Jetai because there's rules that they have to follow in that group and to make good karma, and the cycle starts again. So here's that cycle here. Duty to Jetai, follow Dharma, create karma, and you can be reborn into a better life. So that's what their hope's in, and their ultimate goal is to reach the spirit of Brahman. So how do Hindus believe that their soul will eventually join Brahman? By following their Dharma, their personal duty, and having good karma. Hindus believe that their soul will eventually join Brahman. All right, so let's see. How did Hindus affect the way ancient Indians lived day to day? So they believed that they had to follow, set rules, part of their Jetai. Because of their belief in Dharma and karma, they obeyed rules in their caste. In their caste, their Jetai, they're part of the caste system. So now let's talk about Buddhism. So Prince Siddhartha Gautama was born about 563 BC, and Siddhartha was wealthy. He was married and he had a son, and one day he left the palace and he was shocked to see that most people were poor. He asked himself why people suffered. So he searched to find the answers, so he left his family and he went to meditate under a tree, and finally he came to the understanding and the meaning of life, and that was called enlightenment. So Siddhartha spent the rest of his life teaching people about his discovery. People called him the Buddha, which means the enlightened one. And this became known as Buddhism. The Buddha taught that everyone should stop wanting fame, money, and worldly things, and that they would reach nirvana if they did this. It was a feeling of perfect peace and happiness. The Buddha said that the only way to stop desiring things was to follow the Eightfold Path and the Buddhist rules for right living. The Buddha did not agree with the Jetai system, and he taught that all people could reach nirvana. This made Buddhism very popular among lower Jetai and untouchables, that they could have a better, afterlife, they could come back into a better group. So who was the founder of Buddhism? That was Siddhartha Gautama. And how does a Buddhist get to nirvana? And they must follow the Eightfold Path to reach nirvana. And here is the Eightfold Path here. I'm not going to read it to you. You can go back and read it if you haven't. Let's see. The Buddha taught his ideas for more than 40 years. When he died, his disciples could not agree about what his message really meant. They split into two groups. One was Theravada Buddhism, and Theravada means teaching of the wise men. It says that Buddha was a great teacher, but not a god. Theravada Buddhism spread south and east. It also was popular in Indochina. The other kind of Buddhism was Mahayana Buddhism. It says that the Buddha is a god. Mahayana Buddhism also honored, I gotta look how to say this, hang on. Let's see how to pronounce this correctly. Bodhisattva Bodhisattvas are enlightened people who choose not to go to heaven even though they could. Instead, they stay on earth to help others reach nirvana. So, what is the Eightfold Path? It's a guide to living or to right living for Buddhists to follow. What is the difference between Theravada Buddhism and Mahayana Buddhism? Well, Theravada Buddhists believe that Buddha was a good teacher but not a god. Mahayana Buddhism believed that he was a god and that you could go to heaven if you worshipped him. So there's the difference between the two. If you need to stop this at any time, you can. Okay, in Tibet, Mahayana Buddhism mixed with Hinduism and Tibet's own religion. Buddhist leaders called lamas led the government. Tibetans believed lamas were reincarnations of Buddha. Today, very few Buddhists live in India. Buddhism is widely practiced in Southeast Asia and East Asia. There are about 376 million Buddhists in the world today. It's a large religion. And here is a comparison of the two types of Buddhism. All right, so it says, where is Buddhism practiced today and in what forms? Buddhist is practiced in Southeast Asia and East Asia. Both forms are still practiced. Okay, the third type of religion we're going to look at is Jainism. And it says, another religion also in India at this time is called Jainism. And its main teacher was Mahavira. And Mahavira's title was the Jina, or the Conqueror. His followers are called Jains. Much of Jainism is like Buddhism. Both taught that people should stop wanting worldly things. Their goal was to stop the process of being reborn and to reach nirvana. Jainism is one of the main teachings. Now, Jainism's one main teaching was never harm any creature. The name of this is, let me make sure I say this correctly, Ahimsa. Ahimsa, it says, means that a person should not kill an insect or a worm. Should not even kill an insect or worm, so not kill anything. Centuries later, in the early 1900s, an Indian man named Mahatma Gandhi led a movement to free his nation from the rule of British. Instead of using weapons, Gandhi followed the example of Ahimsa, and he and his followers used nonviolent ways to protest. Through peaceful ways, the nation of India gained its independence. So let's look at this. What is the belief in Ahimsa? It means never harming any living thing. All right, and so here it says, write down one important belief or practice of each religion. And you didn't have to put what I put, but I just wanted to show you what I put. So Hinduism, all living things are part of the spirit of Brahman. Buddhism, people should follow the Eightfold Path. And then Jainism, they want to reach nirvana. So, or you could even put they follow Ahimsa. So those are the things, and you didn't have to put this, like I said, you could put what you wanted, what you learned from this. Okay, so you have watched lesson 1. Now you've watched lesson 2. You've got the correct answers. Like I said, if you need to pause it at any time, you can, or you could have. If you need to rewind it, you can. Check Google Classroom. Check your work. You need to be studying lessons 1 and 2. Next, you want to work lesson 3, and you want to watch the lecture video of lesson 3. There will be a quiz in Google Classroom on 2 and 3 together. You should have already taken lesson 1 quiz, so you need to study all 3 of these packets, the questions in the packet, know the packet, and know your vocabulary. Okay, and you can review those quizzes as well. And that